A couple of sprays is all you really need with these fragrances here. We're going to be going over that today. With everything getting more and more expensive, you kind of feel less inclined to sit there and spray something on 10 or 15 times just to get some good longevity out of it. One of the good things about where everything is going is that we're getting into all these parfums and elixirs and everything like that, flankers upon flankers. They're getting more expensive. The concentrations are also getting stronger a lot of the time. And also a lot of the time, the scent itself is getting stronger too. Now that's not 100% guaranteed, but a lot of these newer releases, albeit very expensive, are beast mode. However, that's not always the case. And we have a lot of budget-friendly options in here. Everything's kind of across the board with this list. We've got spring scents, winter scents, summer scents, everything. And then we have different price ranges as well. I just want to give you some options. So if you're wanting something that only takes a couple of sprays and you're set for the day, you're going to find something that you like in here, no matter what your price range is or what type of year you're shopping for right now. So we'll start things off with a really affordable one. This disappeared and then it came back, and it's been back for a couple years now for around less than $40, depending on if you get tester or full presentation. Paco Rabanne Ultra Red. So, you know, these don't have a cap or anything. You just squeeze right here and it will atomize the scent for you. So you can, you know, save some money going with the tester. That's kind of what I would do. I'm not even 100% sure. This one might not be. I'm not seeing any notes on it, but it could still be. They don't all do that. But yeah, a really, really budget-friendly option here. It's got blood orange, praline, vanilla, and of course, quite a bit of tonka bean. Pretty, you know, expected given that it's a Paco Rabanne. They produce a lot of sweet but very strong scents, and this is one of those. And so given that note breakdown, you might be feeling conflicted in terms of, is it a summer scent, a spring, a fall, whatever. It's, to me, still cooler weather oriented, although a summer evening, an overcast, cloudy summer day, if you're inside, yeah, I mean, it'll work, you know. Just depends on how strictly you want to adhere to that idea. Because the blood orange and everything does give it a bit of a freshness, but it gets sweeter as it dries down. But like I had mentioned, and the reason why it's in this video, you don't need a ton of it to get you through the day, especially with how good this atomizer is. So it disperses a lot. And, you know, just do a handful of sprays, just a couple, you're going to make it through. And again, this one's so affordable that even if you had to over apply it, it's not the end of the world anyway. Now, this next one's actually falling in a very similar price range. It's Ferragamo Uomo, just the original. You guys know I love Uomo Signature. I also really enjoy the two fresh flankers, Urban Feel and Casual Life. I think those are great as well. This is going to be one of the strongest ones. I mean, this and Signature are the two strongest performing releases within that line, and it makes sense because they are predominantly very sweet, but especially this one. So Signature, you know, it has some leather and coffee to tame it back a little. Not this one. It's basically all sweet notes and tonka and a bit of ambroxan and just a whole bunch of sweetness. And this is not something that everybody's going to like, so I encourage you to make sure you know what you're after when you get this. If you're coming from primarily a fresh fragrance collection, you know, like you really like the freshies, and you go straight into something like this, it's quite jarring. So that being said, a couple of sprays, you're going to be set for the day. It's a very strong performer, which in this price range is kind of rare. So this next one, we're just going to completely change it up here. It's getting a bit more expensive with this, although, you know, it's hit discounters and it's popped up and is what it is. It's Xerjoff Groove Escape. So this is new as of last year, I think, something like that. It's got pepper, myrrh, incense, and cedarwood. Really heavy, rich, smoky, earthy, and woody scent. Smells fantastic. I've already covered this one too, you know, so I've talked about it before. But to me, oddly enough, sometimes it smells a little bit like Naxos, but then you also smell it and it kind of has this Gucci Pour Homme smell a little bit, just from that woody smokiness, but then you're getting that sweet syrupy smell also. It's an interesting combination, to say the least. I do really enjoy it. You know, this for me is something exciting just because it has a real nice texture to it, a lot of depth, richness, and as you wear it and you get through, you know, the opening, the mid, the dry down, it changes a lot, and it kind of is quite entertaining. But also, it's a strong performer too. You know, I just did that spray up in the air. I'm going to be smelling it for a while because it hangs in the air big time. And I'm sure some of it probably landed on my skin or probably my face, what happens a lot of the time. And then, you know, I'll be smelling it for a while. But yeah, this is a very strong performer, and yes, it's expensive, but it kind of a little goes a long way. Terre d'Hermès Pure Parfum is up next. So really am a big fan of this one. You know, it truly is a parfum concentrated version of the original. And so it is a bit more dry, a bit more earthy, a bit more extreme, essentially is what this one's all about. And that's because it's taking what the original is, that earthy, orangey, woody, kind of flint smelling scent, very masculine and textured and rough smelling. And they're just making it even more concentrated. So it essentially acts as like an amplifier. It just takes what's existing there and just bumps it up even more. And to me, that is what makes a parfum flanker of something really good. When they don't alter the scent all that much, but they just make it stronger, that's awesome. So what does this one have for notes? Again, it's pretty similar to the original, but it has orange, oak moss, woody notes. It has flint in there actually listed off, and you do pick up on that more so texture more than anything. But again, you know, just very, very strong, more of a traditional style scent. It's not a bubblegummy sweet scent or a blue fragrance or iris scent or tonka or anything like that. So it's gonna be if you want something a little bit more old school, but also still modernized enough and something that you can really be taken seriously when you wear this. Next up, we have the Most Wanted Parfum, another fantastic release from Azzaro. And this is probably one of my favorite flankers within the lineup. It's right behind Wanted by Night for me. You know, Wanted by Night is amazing. It's been one of my favorites for years. You know, after they started coming out with some of these flankers after, you know, it was getting to the point where it's like, yeah, they're doing pretty good with these, and this one's right behind it. So definitely something that you've heard me talk about before. It's just, I really like it, and I cannot get enough of that opening. Very bubbly, fizzy, grape soda smelling opening, which sounds bizarre, and there's not anything like grape listed off, but there is ginger, and sometimes ginger mixing with a few other notes, some sweet notes in this case, it kind of give you a little bit of a bubbly, bright, fizzy smell, and that's what you're getting here off the opening. It is addicting, and it smells amazing. You know, you've heard Dunhill Icon be talked about quite a bit as having like a grape soda smell off the top. Very similar openings, but then this one ultimately just goes in a way different direction. You get sweeter notes, tonka, and just kind of it goes back to more of that Azzaro Wanted sweeter style. But rest assured, it's a really, really eye-catching, attention-grabbing scent, especially off the opening, with great performance. Let's keep it going with Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé by Givenchy. What has to be one of their greatest flankers to date. This one's at the top for me, you know, so with the Azzaro there, it's kind of, yeah, still another one that I like better, or at least it's very close, they're almost tied. This one I can pretty much say without a doubt that it's my favorite. I think it's the best, and it also happens to be my favorite within the line, up against the Eau de Parfum Boisé, the Eau de Toilette, everything, all of them. So why is that? Well, because they're taking that Eau de Parfum DNA and they're adding in some whiskey, some chestnut. So it gets a little bit of a boozy kick and then a kind of a gourmand, sexy, sweet undertone that's additional to the other sweet notes like the iris and everything like that that's been existing within this lineup for a while now. And I think this is the best way that they could have gone for a new flanker and for a, you know, something that's kind of marketed this way. It really is that much more of an interesting, classy, sexy nighttime scent. So if you've already been a fan of the line and the direction that they've gone, you know, especially if you really like just the original Eau de Parfum, I don't see why you really wouldn't like this one. It's just improved, it's better, it's amazing. It's a great performer as well. Next up, we have Acqua di Gio Profondo. So this is one that's brand new, essentially. Really weird, though, because it hit discounters quickly, and hit discounters before it hit retailers here in the US. So it just popped up and boom, you can already get it below retail, and we didn't even know what retail price was. But given it was priced so reasonably low, being brand new on the discount websites, I knew that the retail was not going to be 130 bucks, right? That's just, you know, not going to happen. And it's not. I mean, if you go look at it now, it's much closer to 200. So definitely expensive, but it doesn't have to be. You can get this one for 130, sometimes even less. I think I've seen it just like 95, maybe 100 already. It's insane how quickly this stuff happens. So this one has marine notes, orange, and patchouli. To me, it's kind of like a nighttime version of Profondo, really the easiest way to put it. And it makes sense. Profondo Parfum. A lot of times that's what happens. Take Acqua di Gio, Eau de Toilette, Acqua di Gio Profumo or Parfum. Profumo Parfum has a smoky patchouli kind of addition alongside the C notes and the citrus. It just smells a little bit more smoky and rich and kind of has a nighttime appeal. That's what this one has. So to me, it's one that just, it makes sense. I understand it, and I like it a lot for that reason. You know, Profondo, it's a beautiful scent. It's, to me, one of the most unique summer aquatic scents that we've had released within the past several years. And so the fact that we now have something that just has more of a nighttime, mysterious, and seductive take on that makes a lot of sense to me. You know, I would wear Profondo during the day when it's hot outside and you're doing whatever. If you're going out to eat, going out doing something in the evening time, you can layer this one right over top. It doesn't get easier than that. And it has great performance as well, coming in at a true parfum concentration. So you don't need a ton of this stuff. You don't need to bathe in it. Just do a couple of sprays. You're going to be set. And especially if you're using it for a nighttime scent or an evening out scent or an all-night party scent, it's not going to take a lot and you're going to be set to go. So we'll finish things off with a cheapie, $35 to $40 for this one. Really, really good price and one of the best affordable fragrances that you can get, in my opinion. Bentley for Men Absolute has cedar, papyrus, and pink pepper in here, along with a little bit of oud, but that's not very prominent. You don't pick up on that a ton. But the other notes you really do. Smoky, peppery, spicy, woody, and spicy. I'm going to use it twice because that cedar with the pink pepper and papyrus, it has some serious kick to it. So strong off the opening, but such a beautiful scent. This has to be one of the best cheap fragrances you can buy. And I really like Bentley for Men Intense as well, but that one is a bit more daring. Not everybody likes it. It's very smoky and incensey. Some people kind of say it just smells like a church, you know, and so, you know, more of an acquired taste with that one, a little bit more specific. Not this one to that extent, although it definitely isn't a Dior Sauvage super entry-level scent either. And that's where you kind of fall into some trouble because it's priced at an entry-level price point, so you think that anybody can wear it and like it. Not true. So smoky, woody, spicy, kind of with an alcohol, boozy note off the opening. Kind of smells like the original Gucci Pour Homme 1, or Gucci Pour Homme the original, which I referenced when I was talking about Xerjoff Groove Escape earlier. This, compared to Groove Escape, they're still wildly different, but there are certain aspects, I think of the type of cedar that they're using in this and in the Xerjoff, that kind of ties it back to that OG Gucci masterpiece. And this one really has it going on, but for an absolute fraction of the cost. I mean, you can't even get the Gucci anymore as far as an in-production scent. You would have to go on eBay and pay an outlandish amount of money for it and maybe get a fake or get scammed. Don't worry about that. You don't have to do that. Get Bentley for Men Absolute, under 40 bucks or right around it, and you're going to be smelling great. Super unique, especially in this day and age, and a strong performer. A couple of sprays and you're good to go. This is the type of thing you really don't want to necessarily over-apply because it can be a bit overbearing. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some fantastic 2-spray to last all day scents. It doesn't take a lot. Hit yourself a couple of times and then you're set. You don't have to stress about it. You don't have to worry about it. So I'll link all these down below to discounters for you if you're kind of curious on where I'm getting these prices from. Well, discounters. So conveniently will be linked down below. And like I said, you know, new releases hitting discounters quickly, rare stuff coming into stock. I notify my mailing list and texting list of all of that stuff. They're the first to know. So you can sign up to that for free at the link and phone number down below. New stuff, rare stuff popping up all the time. Paradise Garden, Profondo Parfum, and then rare stuff like the One Gray and Dior Homme Parfum for $125. All this stuff that you don't want to miss out on. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.